Hey, so in today's video, I'd like to talk to you about why you should never fear death. Never. Which is a funny statement, right? Because I can pretty much say everybody has feared death at least some point. I have. I know people who have. I haven't met a single person who hasn't. You most definitely have. Everybody has feared death at some point. And if you don't anymore, that's good, but you still think about it. You still wonder about it every now and then. It still creeps in your mind, and that's natural. That's not something to be worried about. But fearing death, this is a problem. This is a huge problem, which is funny, right? Because we all fear it. So how? And it's such a perplexing concept. It's almost like we should fear it, but why? Why not? Why not? Right off the bat, I want to tell you, this doesn't mean that you should be a psychopath, be crazy, like running across, like if you want to get from point A to point B and there's a highway in between you, I'm not telling you to be like, I don't fear death and run across a fucking highway. I just mean, don't be scared of the idea of what comes next. Don't be scared of that. Be scared of dying because nobody wants to get hit by a car on the freeway because they wanted to get from point A to point B faster. Yeah, I think I fear that one too, but that don't fear the next thing. Don't fear what comes after. That's what we're talking about. So get that one out of your mind. I'm not telling you to be stupid. Anyway, why shouldn't we fear what comes after? Because it's so confusing, right? It's such a dark little concept. Nobody knows what's going to come after. So that's initially such a provocative. It's such a provocative for fear. It's it's instinctual. If we don't know what happens, we fear it. We fear the unknown. That's a saying, and that's not wrong. I'm not telling you that this is a wrong thing to have. I'm just going to tell you it's not the best mental health. The reason for this is we all die. Everything dies at some point. At some point. I mean, I'm not going to speak for the future when it comes to certain things because I don't know how the universe is going to look like in the future, right? So I don't know if everything is going to die permanently at some point. There's like those theories that black holes will eat everything eventually or everything's going to die, eaten up by black holes at some point, and then the black holes are going to die, and then there's going to be nothing. That is a theory, but I really don't know if that's true. Nobody can know. So we're not going to go off the premise like everything is going to die billion, trillion years down the line. I just mean everyone that you know, everyone that you even don't know, everyone's going to die that you see. There might be some guy who makes the key to immortality, but that's a whole other thing that maybe we shouldn't even. We probably shouldn't even have it. If we needed immortality, we would have been born with it. So, yeah. The point is, everything that you know, realistically thinking, will die. And that's scary. I won't lie. That's a scary thing in a way. Because you don't want everything to die. You don't want everyone to die. You don't want to look at your family and realize that one day they will all be dead. You don't want to look at your friends and realize they'll all be dead. And you don't want to look at people that you walk by when you're walking in the street. You don't want to have to look at them all and realize each and every one of them and everyone they know and everyone they know too, so on and so forth, will all die. It is a dark, dark thought. It's absolutely true that everyone you see and everyone they see and so on will die. It's super, super dark, but it's the harsh reality. We don't have a choice. So, instantly, if we don't have a choice, just think about that for a moment. If we don't have a choice, how can we worry so much? That's going to lift so much pressure off you because nobody has a choice. We all end up this way. The people who are in the present right now, billions, the trillions that'll come after us, the millions that came before, everybody is going to end up in the ground. Well, not in the ground, but, some people get their ashes scattered, but everyone's dead. Everyone's going to be dead. You're dying currently. And I know that's a dark thought, but just realize that if we all end up in the same place, is that not comforting in its own right? And if we don't have a choice, and because we really don't have any choice, there is no pill for immortality or anything. So if we don't have a choice at all, is that not comforting in some way? I know some people, like I have a family member who gets who gets worked up about this stuff sometimes, and it's given me a lot of insight into why we fear death so much. And it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, but I've successfully calmed them down a lot with my advice here. And we're not even done, but the point is that we all fear it no matter what I'm going to say. It's just I want you to try and be comforted by it a little. And I know that some people are really, really afraid of it, like the person I'm talking about. So for that matter, it's not going to comfort you too much, but just try to think about it a little bit. It comforts you a little still. If you fear it that much, it will still comfort you some. To the average, it comforts more, but that's my point. Anyway, right what we said, we don't have a choice and everyone ends up there. But the fear is what is after. Because if we all, what if we all end up in nothing? What if we all end up in some hellscape? What if it's just some horrible thing? I've heard some theories of your body, you just stay in your dead body and you can't move. And I don't believe that one at all, but some people do, and it's freaky, right? I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty scary, but I don't believe it. So, but if you do, that's all right. The point is, why does it matter what happens next? Why does it matter? Go back to what we just said. We don't have a choice and everyone goes to we all end up in the same place. Well, sort of. I mean, in some religions, well, in most religions, you either go to hell or you go to a form of heaven, right? So, to people who believe that stuff, we don't all go to the same place. But that's a good thing in its own way, because doesn't that instantly show you should appreciate the time and live well with the time that you have here? Because even if there's nothing beyond that, nothing beyond death, would you be willing to take the risk of going to a hell-like place for the rest of time because you made bad decisions? Because you didn't spend your time well? In every religion, the key is you spend your time well, you be a good person, you worship whatever that deity is, the god, the gods, the goddess, whatever it might be. You worship that religion, and you be a good person, and you go within the rules of that religion, and you will get what you want. I know there's another debate for what religion is right, because there's 1,000 different religions, right? So I'm not going to get into that. I think you could do whatever. I think that's fine. You're not going to go to hell. If the Christian God exists, you're not going to go to hell for being a Muslim. Vice versa, what was it again? Allah? Yeah, I think that was it. I'm not too well versed. I don't want to start talking about things I don't know too much, but I think it was Allah. If he exists and the Christian God doesn't, I don't think Christians are going to immediately go to hell. So don't worry too much about who to worship. It's just try to be a good person with the time you have. Because regardless, are you willing to take the risk that even if there is nothing, are you really going to risk going to hell? Any version of it? I really hope you don't. I really hope you won't do that. That doesn't mean you need to be hyper-religious, but be a good person and spend your time wise. That's what I mean. Because death is not something that we should purely fear and speculate about all the time. No. It's not here yet. We don't need to focus on that. What we should focus on is the life we have now, the time that is now, the present, and we need to focus on who we're being in that time. Are we being good? Are we living our life to the best we can? Even if there's nothing afterwards and none of this will carry over, are we living the one way that we would have had it if we could carefully dictate the perfect life? Because you can almost. You can perfectly create exactly how you are going to be if you just take a moment to think, what would the perfect me be? You can make that easily. I mean, of course, if your perfect you is like a billionaire and is also Batman, I mean, you got a bit of a unrealistic expectation, right? But what if whatever it is, if it's realistic, what if you're just like well dressed and you've got manners and you're a nice guy and you want a family and you want all that? You can get that. That's realistic. Are you living the life of perfect you? Take a minute, craft the perfect you. Are you there? Are you getting there? Are you not there at all? Whatever it might be, it's possible to get there. So, why not? Live the life that you're going to live. Don't think about death. Live the life you're going to live that's perfect for you. Because we only have this once from what we can tell. There might be reincarnation. But do you remember your past life? No. So, reincarnation is a maybe. And even then, if we don't remember our past life, does it really matter to us now? So no. Live the best life you can now. Don't worry about death. Death will come, and that's bleak, but it will come for you, it will come for me, and it will come for everyone. Think about that. One day I'm going to end up dead. One day you're going to end up dead. We're looking at each other right now. I know you're going to die. You know I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die. You know you're going to die. It's a fucking trippy thought, isn't it? But that's the way it's going to be. So stop worrying. Stop. You can't control it. Why don't you fear birth, man? That's my funniest argument, is if we can't control birth, why don't we fear birth? Because we can't control death either. So why don't we fear birth? Because, like, what if there was something so good on the other side? Why don't we fear that? So it's hilarious. It's not meant to be taken too seriously, because birth isn't as catastrophic as death, of course. But my point is, if you don't have a choice, and we consider life such a gift, why don't we consider death a gift too? It is a gift because it teaches us to live a good life. And then once we live that good life, we earn our rest. Immortality is probably a sickness. I know a lot of people who would rather die than be immortal. So we have a reason to earn our rest and to leave for the new people to come, for the new life to be born. And that in itself is beautiful. So don't fear it. Embrace it. And live the life that you would live if you could perfectly make it. Because it is possible to live your perfect life. And that's all. I hope this helps you a ton. Please never fear death. You can't control it. Everyone ends up dead at some point. And whatever happens next, so be it. Whether it's eternal darkness, nothing, or hell. I don't even know. I have no clue. But embrace it. Live your best life now. That's what you got to do. And that's everything. Do your challenge for today as well. Almost forgot about that. Challenge for today is just try to plan out the perfect life that you would live if you could have it. And then set goals to get it. Because you can have that perfect life. So set a goal to get to that perfect life. You can do it. Everyone can do it. So set a goal for that perfect life. And that's everything. Now I'm done. Hope this helps you a ton. Take care, my friend.